If your lower back starts to hurt every time you stand up to do the dishes, wait in line at the store, or even just take a simple walk around the neighborhood, you're not alone, and you're definitely not imagining things. It's one of the most frustrating and mentally draining types of back pain because it doesn't show up when you're relaxing on the couch. It waits to ambush you the moment you try to be active or upright, doing exactly what your spine was designed to do. For millions of people, the pattern goes something like this. You've been sitting for a while, maybe at work, in traffic, or just scrolling on your phone. You stand up, feel okay at first. Then within minutes, there's this creeping tightness or dull ache that starts to spread across your lower back. The longer you stand, the more it builds. Sometimes it turns into a sharper pinch. Other times it's just a deep, exhausting fatigue in your spine that makes you desperate to sit back down. And if you decide to take a walk, which, ironically, everyone says is good for your back, it often doesn't help at all. In fact, after a few blocks, you might catch yourself constantly shifting your weight, leaning on a railing, or even looking around for a bench so you can give your back a break. The worst part? Most people have no idea why this is happening. Or they chalk it up to simply getting older, or being out of shape, or having weak back muscles. So they do what seems logical. They start stretching their hamstrings obsessively, thinking the problem must be tight legs. Or they buy a new ergonomic chair, hoping that'll fix everything. Some even avoid standing and walking as much as possible, thinking rest is the answer. But the truth is, and this might shock you, the real reason your back hurts when you stand or walk is almost never about your hamstrings, your age, or needing more rest. It's almost always about the way your spine and pelvis have been gradually misaligned by years of tiny habits you didn't even realize were harming you. And ironically, the more you rest, the more those critical stabilizing muscles weaken, which makes the underlying problem even worse the next time you stand up. The psychological trap. Why this pain is so discouraging. One of the reasons this type of back pain is so mentally draining is because it feels like a punishment for trying to be healthy. You decide, okay, I'm going to stand up more during the day instead of sitting. Or I'll go for a walk after dinner instead of watching TV. Because you've heard movement is medicine. And then what happens? Within minutes, your back starts protesting. It's as if your body is saying, nope, nice try, but standing upright isn't for you. So you go back to sitting or reclining on the couch just to stop the ache. But here's the ugly cycle. Every time you retreat to sitting or lying down, your deep core and glute stabilizers shut off even more, your hip flexors get shorter and tighter, your discs lose hydration, and your spine loses critical joint mobility. So the next time you try to stand or walk, the pain shows up even faster and feels even worse. This is why so many people slide from, I have back pain when I stand too long, to, I can't even stand up long enough to make dinner, and then to, I can't go grocery shopping without leaning on the cart, and finally to, I only leave the house if absolutely necessary. It's not because your back is broken. It's because the small mechanical problems inside your pelvis and lumbar spine were never addressed. Why pain when standing or walking is a red flag and different from sitting pain? Here's something most people, and even many general doctors, don't understand. If your back hurts mostly when sitting, it's usually a sign of disc bulges being compressed by flexion or strained postural muscles from slumping. But if your back hurts worse when standing upright or walking, that's a completely different mechanical problem, and one that often points to facet joint compression, where your spinal joints are literally jamming together because your pelvis is tilted too far forward and the natural lumbar curve has become exaggerated. Dehydrated, flattened discs. So instead of cushioning your vertebrae under the load of standing, they're letting the bones press closer together. Weak glutes and deep core, forcing tiny muscles in your lower back to take on all the work of keeping you upright. This is also why so many people with this issue say things like, I actually feel better bending forward over the sink or resting my hands on my knees, even though that looks like bad posture. Because in that moment, bending slightly forward opens up the facet joints and decompresses the pressure on your spine, giving temporary relief. How long has your body been trying to tell you? Think back. Have you been noticing more low back stiffness in the mornings? Do you catch yourself frequently standing with your butt sticking out and your lower ribs flaring? Have you started taking shorter walks or avoiding places where you'd have to stand for a long time? Have you begun favoring one leg or shifting side to side constantly just to get comfortable? These are all subtle ways your body has been whispering, "Hey, something's off in how we're stacked up down here." Ignore it long enough, and it doesn't just whisper, it starts shouting. That's when you get sudden spasms, shooting pains, or that sickening feeling like your spine might buckle under you. Stay with me, because it's not hopeless. Here's the good news. Most of this is fixable. You can absolutely retrain your pelvis and lumbar spine to distribute load correctly again. You can rehydrate your discs with simple daily hydration and decompression strategies. You can wake up your glutes and deep core so your lower back muscles stop working overtime. And you can do all of it without fancy machines, endless rest, or scary procedures. That's exactly what we'll start breaking down in this video, step by step. Now, let's dive deeper into exactly what's going wrong inside your body, why it makes standing and walking so painful, and the subtle signs your body's been giving you that prove this isn't just about being stiff or out of shape. The hidden culprits inside your spine. When it comes to pain that shows up specifically when you're upright and moving, there are two main mechanical problems we see over and over. Facet joint compression. Imagine the back of your spine like a set of tiny interlocking joints. These are your facet joints. They guide motion in your vertebrae, helping you twist, bend, and stand upright. They're like little hinges. Now, here's the catch. Facet joints are meant to glide and bear small amounts of pressure, not to get jammed together under heavy load for long periods. But when your pelvis is tilted too far forward, often from tight hip flexors, weak glutes, and years of sitting, it exaggerates a natural curve in your lower back, the lumbar lordosis. This hyperarch position closes down the space between your facet joints. So every time you stand or walk, your spine literally stacks down on itself. That's why you get that sharp, pinching, or deep aching feeling that often starts a minute or two after standing, then builds into something that makes you desperate to sit or lean forward. Leaning forward temporarily opens up the facet joints, which is why many people instinctively bend over a counter, shopping cart, or even put hands on knees when standing. Disc dehydration and axial loading. Now, let's talk about your discs, the gel-filled cushions between each vertebra. These discs act like tiny shock absorbers, handling the vertical load that gravity puts on your spine all day. But here's what most people don't realize. Your discs are mostly water. They rely on regular movement and proper hydration to stay plump and healthy. They don't have their own direct blood supply. They depend on a pumping action from movement to pull nutrients in. If you spent years sitting too long, not drinking enough water, or simply not moving your spine through its full ranges, your discs start to lose hydration. They flatten out, the outer ring, the annulus fibrosus, become stiffer and more brittle, and they can't cushion your vertebrae as well. So now, when you stand or walk, your spine is still under the same vertical load, but with less shock absorption. It's like stacking bricks with no padding in between. That's why you feel a deep, tired ache that worsens the longer you're upright. The silent warning signs, it's not just muscle tightness. A lot of people shrug off these symptoms as just tight muscles. But your body's been dropping clues all along that it's something deeper. Here are some of the subtle, but telling, signs you're dealing with facet compression or disc dehydration. You actually feel better sitting or bending forward. When you slouch, bend over a counter, or sit with your knees drawn up, it opens the facet joints and takes pressure off the discs. That's why so many people instinctively lean forward to get relief. Even though long-term it can worsen muscle imbalances. You constantly shift your weight side to side when standing. Your body does this because staying evenly stacked feels uncomfortable. Shifting offloads pressure momentarily from one side of the spine, but it's a band-aid fix. You often lock your knees or stand with your hips pushed forward. This position might feel like it rests your legs, but actually shoves your pelvis even further forward, exaggerating lumbar curve and jamming facet joints tighter. You feel a catch, small lock, or a tiny twinge when taking your first steps after standing still. It's your spine and surrounding muscles trying to readjust under sudden load. You wake up with a stiff, rusty lower back that only loosens after 20 to 30 minutes of moving. This isn't just morning muscle tightness. It's often a sign that discs are dehydrated overnight. They rehydrate somewhat when lying down, and now they're trying to adapt again to vertical load. You subconsciously avoid long lines, standing social events, or even carrying light groceries without a cart. You might tell yourself you're just being efficient, but your nervous system is steering you away from activities it knows will compress your spine. Why your brain keeps reinforcing the wrong posture. Here's something fascinating. When your body spends years with tight hip flexors, weak glutes, and a tilted pelvis, your nervous system actually starts to treat that misaligned posture as normal. So even when you try to stand up straight, your brain defaults to the old muscle patterns that tilt your pelvis forward and arch your lower back too much. That's why these issues don't fix themselves. Your muscles literally forget how to share the load properly. Your discs adapt by stiffening and flattening. Your facet joints become the primary support system, which they were never meant to be, the beginning of real fixes. The good news is that once you understand these mechanical causes, you can start to change them. You can learn to restore proper pelvic alignment. So your lumbar spine isn't constantly overarched. You can rehydrate your discs with the right movement and hydration habits. You can rebuild glute and deep core strength, so they start carrying the load again, taking massive pressure off your facet joints and discs. If any of these silent warning signs hit home for you, if you've caught yourself shifting your weight, leaning forward, or dreading standing in line at the store, stick around. Because the next few minutes could be the turning point that helps you finally break the cycle of compression, pain, and retreating back to the chair. How to fix it. The 4-step game plan to relieve your back when standing or walking. So far, you've learned that lower back pain when standing or walking isn't random. It's a mechanical consequence of your spine being forced to hold weight it was never meant to carry alone. It's your body's way of saying, hey, your discs are too dry to cushion properly. Your facet joints are jammed together, and your muscles that should be sharing the load have taken a long vacation. But the good news is that these aren't permanent flaws. Your body is remarkably adaptable. With the right signals, it can decompress, rehydrate, and re-strengthen, sometimes in surprisingly short time. This part of the video is all about the practical plan, how to fix the root of your problem step by step. Step 1. Rehydrate your discs and decompress daily. Why? Your discs don't have direct blood supply. They depend on movement, hydration, and pressure changes to pull water and nutrients in. When you're dehydrated, or when you stay in static positions too long, like sitting, your discs literally shrink. That means there's less gel between your vertebrae and they can't buffer vertical loads. So standing and walking feel awful. What to do? Every morning, right when you wake up, drink 500 milliliters of water with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. The salt and lemon help pull water into your tissues faster, instead of flushing straight out. Then spend 5 minutes in a 90 to 90 position. Lie on your back with your calves up on a chair, so your hips and knees are at 90 degrees. Let your low back gently flatten into the floor. Take deep belly breaths, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. This position creates the lowest interdiscal pressure possible, actually drawing fluid back into your discs like a sponge. You can repeat this once or twice later in the day if you know you'll be standing or walking for long periods. Step 2. Fix your pelvic position so facet joints stop jamming. Why? If your pelvis tilts too far forward, anterior tilt, it exaggerates your lumbar curve, compressing your facet joints and stretching your abs into weakness. This is almost always driven by tight hip flexors from sitting, combined with lazy glutes that have forgotten how to hold your pelvis level. What to do? Start with a hip flexor stretch. Every day. How? Kneel on one knee like a lunge. Tuck your pelvis slightly under. Imagine pulling your tailbone forward. Keep your chest upright. Gently lean forward until you feel a stretch in front of your hip. Hold 30 seconds. Switch sides. Then immediately do glute bridges to teach your pelvis to reset with your muscles instead of just passive stretching. How? Lie on your back, feet flat, knees bent. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your hips until your body forms a straight line from shoulders to knees. Hold 2 seconds at the top, then lower slowly. Do 15 reps. Step 3. Reactivate your stabilizers, core plus glutes. Why? Weak glutes and a sleepy deep core mean tiny muscles in your lower back are forced to stabilize your spine on their own. That's why standing or walking becomes painful, because small muscles that are supposed to be assistants are forced to become primary load bearers. What to do? Start with these 2 power moves. 1. Bird dog for cross-chain stability. On all fours, tighten your abs slightly. Extend one arm forward and the opposite leg back. Hold 5 seconds. Keep your hips level, don't twist. Return and switch sides. Do 10 reps each side. 2. Side plank for lateral support. Lie on your side, elbow under shoulder, legs straight. Lift your hips until your body forms a straight line. Hold 20 to 30 seconds. If too hard, keep bottom knee bent on floor. Switch sides. These wake up the muscles that keep your pelvis level when you stand or step forward, dramatically reducing stress on your spine. Step 4. Adjust how you stand and move. Stop making it worse. Why? You can do all the stretches and exercises in the world, but if you spend hours every day standing with locked knees, but pushed out, belly sagging, or constantly shifting your weight, you'll keep jamming your facet joints and flattening your discs. What to do? A. Micro bend your knees. Keeping a tiny bend in your knees when you stand softens the load on your spine. Locked knees push your hips forward, increasing lumbar curve and smashing your facet joints. B. Chain positions every 5 to 10 minutes. Slightly step 1 foot forward or backward, then switch. Sway gently side to side. This mimics the natural micro movements your spine needs to maintain hydration and reduce static load. C. Limit heavy overhead lifts for now. Lifting weight above shoulder height arches your low back more. Wait until your core and glutes are stronger. Here's how a simple 24-hour reset for your spine looks in practice. Start your morning at 7 a.m. by drinking water with a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon to hydrate your tissues. Then spend a few minutes in a 90 to 90 decompression position to gently unload your spine. By 8:30 a.m., after you've done a bit of sitting or some early work, do a quick hip flexor stretch followed by glute bridges to reset your pelvic alignment and wake up your stabilizers. At 10 a.m., move into bird dogs and side planks to activate your deep core and cross-chain muscles, which support your spine during standing and walking. Around 12:30 p.m., drink another 250 milliliters of water and do a quick posture check with small micro movements while standing, keeping your knees soft and shifting your weight to avoid static loading. By 3 p.m., repeat your hip flexor stretch and add some micro bends in your knees while standing to continue offloading your lower back and keeping blood flow active. At 6 p.m. before dinner, take a few minutes for another 90 to 90 decompression session. Allow your discs to pull in nutrients and relieve the day's built-up pressure. Finally, around 9 p.m., take a magnesium supplement to relax your muscles, and finish with a gentle twist or knee hug stretch to wind down your spine before bed. Repeat this for just 7 days, and many people feel a dramatic drop in pain when standing or walking, often by 1 to 3 points on their pain scale. Tell them the payoff. Imagine going to the grocery store without hunting for the closest cart to lean on, standing in the kitchen, cooking your favorite meal without shuffling your feet every 2 minutes, or taking a walk around your block, breathing deeply, enjoying the evening air, without your spine punishing you for trying to be healthy. If this helped you understand why your back hurts when you stand or walk, and what you can start doing right now to fix it, smash that like button so more people find this. Comment below with which step you'll start today. Is it the morning hydration plus decompression, or finally stretching those hip flexors after years stuck at a desk? And if you're serious about breaking the cycle of back pain, make sure you subscribe to Back Pain Relief, because in the next video, we're going even deeper into specific foods and micronutrients that actually rebuild your spinal discs from the inside out, plus the hidden inflammation triggers in your diet that silently worsen back pain. Take care of your back. It will take care of you every single step of the way. I'll see you in the next video. Part 4, Locking It In, How to Keep Your Spine Pain-Free for Life. If you've made it this far, give yourself serious credit. Most people look for a quick stretch, a miracle device, or another painkiller, then bounce off the problem before ever addressing it. But you're still here, which means you're actually ready to fix your back long term, not just chase temporary relief. In this final part, we'll cover how to turn your daily fixes into permanent upgrades, so your back stops screaming when you stand or walk. Because here's the truth. You can't keep doing the same old things and expect your spine to magically behave differently. Permanent change means making small but powerful adjustments to how you live, stand, move, eat, sleep, so your spine gets supported from every angle. Why consistency is the secret weapon. Most people fail to get long-term relief not because the techniques don't work, but because they do them for a week or two, feel a bit better, then slide right back into old habits. Their discs start dehydrating again. The facet joints go right back to jamming, and within a month they're saying, I tried those exercises, they didn't work. But your spine is a living structure. Your discs can rehydrate and rebuild collagen, but it takes weeks of consistent hydration and decompression. Your glutes and deep core can learn to support your pelvis again, but it takes weeks of re-education and practice. Your fascia can loosen and reorganize, but it responds to daily signals, not a single weekend of stretches. That's why you need to make these fixes so easy, so automatic, they just become part of how you live. Daily lifestyle upgrades. Your spine will thank you. Here's how to embed spine health into your life, so you're not constantly playing catch-up with pain. 1. Master your standing posture. It's so simple it almost feels silly, but the way you stand all day literally shapes your spine's future. Check yourself anytime you're standing still. Are your knees locked? Unlock them slightly. Is your butt sticking way out behind you? Squeeze your glutes gently to level your pelvis. Are your ribs flaring? Pull them back over your hips. Are you shifting from leg to leg every 5 seconds? Ground both feet evenly. Even subtle changes distribute load off your lumbar spine and onto your hips and legs, where it belongs. 2. Change your relationship with sitting. The problem isn't just sitting. It's how long and how mindlessly we do it. Use the 30-minute rule. Set a silent alarm on your phone for every 30 minutes of sitting. When it buzzes, stand up, do a reach or hip circle, take a 60-second walk around the room, then sit back down. Those tiny interruptions literally repump hydration into your discs, keep your facet joints from jamming, and prevent your pelvis from locking into a forward tilt. 3. Hydrate like your spine depends on it, because it does. Most people walk around mildly dehydrated all day. They sip coffee, tea, or energy drinks, none of which hydrate your spinal discs. Remember, your discs are mostly water, and they rely on daily hydration to maintain thickness and cushioning. Try this. Drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water daily, e.g. 160 pounds person equals 80 ounces. Add a pinch of natural salt to your morning water to drive fluid into tissues. Eat water-rich foods like cucumber, watermelon, oranges, and leafy greens. 4. Build a morning spine routine. Start every day with 5 minutes of 90 to 90 decompression, legs on a chair, breathe deep, a set of hip flexor stretches, plus glute bridges, a quick hydration hit, 500 milliliters of water before coffee. This takes less than 10 minutes. But over months, it adds up to hundreds of hours of reduced disc pressure and proper alignment, literally reshaping your spine's health trajectory. 5. Upgrade your sleep surface. If your mattress is too soft, your hips sink, your lumbar curve exaggerates, and you wake up with that classic morning rust. If it's too hard, you get pressure points that cause tossing and muscle guarding. Aim for a medium firm mattress that keeps your spine relatively straight. If you're a side sleeper, hug a pillow and keep one between your knees to level your pelvis. If on your back, try a pillow under your knees to soften lumbar arch. 6. Learn to breathe and de-stress. Chronic stress means chronic cortisol. Cortisol literally thins the matrix of your discs and pulls magnesium out of your muscles, increasing tightness and nerve sensitivity. Try a simple 4-4-6-2 box, breathing anytime you feel tense. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, exhale 6 seconds, hold 2 seconds. It sounds tiny, but your spine is tightly tied to your nervous system. Calmer mind, calmer muscles, less guarding, less pain. Look, I know back pain can be terrifying. It messes with your independence, your hobbies, even your sense of who you are. But the fact that you're here, watching this, learning how your spine actually works and what it needs to heal, that puts you ahead of 90% of people still stuck in the endless loop of stretch a bit, pop a pill, rest, repeat. Hit the like button right now with this video. Open your eyes to new ways to fix your back. It helps this reach more people who desperately need it. Comment below. How long have you been struggling with pain when you stand or walk? Or what tiny change from today's video are you going to start first? And don't forget to subscribe to Back Pain Relief. We got upcoming videos on foods that rebuild spinal discs, how to permanently fix sway back posture, and simple tweaks to your favorite exercises to keep your spine bulletproof. Remember, your back isn't broken. It's simply been starved of the right movements, hydration, muscle activation, and calm for too long. But it can change. Small daily choices compound into a totally new spine over the months ahead. So keep going. Take care of your back, and it will take care of you every single step of the way.